Vixie. I hope you're having a great day and hope everything gets better. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Draw. But of course, before we get into the nitty-gritty of this here episode right now, we need to cover the comment of the week. I picked out this comment from Jocelyn Lewis, where they say, "Love this series, spent a whole afternoon watching with a whole lot of smiles." This was left on, at the current moment, most recent Minecraft episode, and it makes me happy. It's always good to see people are enjoying the series, because I sure do love that Minecraft series a whole heck of a lot. So expect more episodes going forward. I haven't recorded any more quite yet, but I'll definitely get to it. If you would like to be the next comment of the week, you can leave a comment down below. I do not have a theme for this week, so it can be anything you want. It can be silly, it can be funny, it can be completely nonsensical, and who knows, you might be the next comment of the week. Now, of course, we are back in Let's Draw, and if you've watched the last two episodes of Let's Draw, you have a pretty good idea of what we're working on today. We are going to be working on this here drawing of Vixie in her Canon's, fancy Night on the Town outfit of her silver dress that she loves so much, and I love so much. Now, before we actually get to the nitty-gritty of what we're drawing here, there's actually a few things I want to change. And by a few things, I mean there's one primary thing I want to change. Namely, her muzzle, or specifically around her facial region, right here, her snoodle region. It looks a little bit off. I'm pretty sure what's weird about it is her lips, her top lips are a little bit too far down. So I'm gonna experiment as soon as I figure out head noggin, where that is. There's our whiskers, so it should be this. Yes. Why is that a separate thing? What was I doing? So we're just gonna make a layer above that. So we're just gonna very quickly, very easily, that's our new layer. We're gonna set this to 20% opacity, and we're gonna see about maybe potentially doing this a little bit better. Oh, is this my aliased one or anti-aliased one? I changed up my brushes just a little bit. That's the normal one. That's weird. It looks jagged. Either way, that doesn't matter too much. So if I sound a little bit more energy, or if my voice sounds a little more raw than usual, that is because this is actually the second thing I am recording today. By the time, of course, you guys are seeing this video, the video where I go through and I rank all of these songs in the Binding of Isaac soundtrack has already gone up. So that would be why my voice is so raw, because after that 5-hour something recording, I'm now recording this. So this is probably going to be a more, we'll say, low-key, more laid-back version of Let's Draw, which it already is low-key and laid-back, so we'll see what happens. Now, I think I'm going to do myself a favor here, and I'm going to hide that specific line behind the whisker, because we now have them in the way beforehand. Sort of like that. And now let's just round this out a little bit better. I didn't actually write down any talking points now I think about it, which I've started doing. So this is going to be very familiar to the earlier episodes of Let's Draw, where I just kind of talk about what comes up, is off the top of my head. And currently, the thing that's running through my mind right now is my headphones have been giving me quite a bit of grief recently. Namely with the fact that my cord is all messed up, apparently. And I'm gonna need a new one, soon, because my left earphone keeps cutting out, and it's really annoying. Thankfully, these are wireless headphones. They just have the capability to use an aux cord as well, so I'll just have to get a replacement aux cord. But at the same time, it's really annoying that I have to replace something on my headphones just to get them to work properly. I'll need to see if I can just tape them in some way at some point to get it to, fix properly. What happened there? Hold on. Boobs. What is that? How did that happen? Go away. That's looking a little bit better. So now let's just put her lip in real quick. Alright, let me just, where's the bottom line? There we go. Okay, I think that's a little bit too short now. So we're just gonna go ahead and delete that whole thing. Actually, wait, bring it back. And we're now gonna put that on low opacity as well. That's her nose. Whoops. We're going to put that on low opacity as well, and we are going to split the difference between it and the previous one. So we'd want it to be right here-ish. While I figure this out, I think this is probably a good time for me to say, hey, if you enjoyed my videos, maybe consider dropping a like. And also, make sure to check to see if you're actually subscribed, because YouTube has this thing where they tend to randomly unsubscribing people from people's channels for absolutely no reason. So if you like my stuff and are wondering why you might not be getting informed of when I post stuff, maybe check to see if you're still subscribed. And make sure to actually turn on the bell so it does something, because YouTube is a big fan of not notifying people when the people they subscribe to post stuff. couldn't tell you why. Probably out of spite, if I were to take a guess. Oh, and I have, this is sort of kind of like behind the scenes stuff, but I've henceforth figured out a compromise, so to speak, of me not being able to share my music live with the people on my Patreon who are watching the unedited thing. And I have put together a curated list of awesome, good, and or sick-ass tunes from the Hat in Time and Isaac soundtracks to listen to. So I now have something I enjoy listening to, and Patreon has something to listen to alongside me and not just have, dead air. Which is always good. That's looking much better. Okay, we'll worry about smoothing out the snoot in a second. Let's just add her lip. Okay, I think that's only looking weird because we don't have the cheek fluff. So let's see. I'm actually gonna put all this in a group real quick. So now, there we go. We can rename that to muzzle. So now we can't, or we'll stop losing all of the stuff we're trying to edit here. So with that, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do myself a silly and or goofy, and actually, I might, muzzle's good. I think the lip needs to be bigger. So let's see if we can't just fix that nice and easy real quick. Very careful erasing, and then we want a bigger lip. I think it's too far forward, maybe? Hold on, make the neck fluff go away. How's that? Okay, so it needs to be roughly this height, but it needs to be stouter. And yeah, I think it is a little bit too far forward. So we want to start like right there. Try that. Oh yeah, there we go. There we go, that's much better. That's much better. Okay, sweet. So now we're gonna head to our cheek fluff, and we are going to duplicate it, make the other one go away, and we're gonna do ourselves a good-ass favor, and just erase this bottom line, because we don't need to mess with the cheek fluff on a whole, it's just the bottom line. By doing this, this'll save us a lot of grief when we go to edit our colors, which we've already done. And we still have the old one, which we might even use as a guide. So we want that same general size in a different position. So we're gonna go on a super high stabilizer, and we're basically just gonna trace that, but connect it better. Just... hold on, that's an eraser. Whoops. Just like that. Maybe not quite like that, but close. And loop up. How does that look? The line's a little thin, so I gotta do a little bit more pressure. Damn it, that's the wrong layer. Okay, I'll work on figuring this out. So while I do try to figure this out, how are you all doing? It's been a little bit since I feel like I've actually just talked to the audience aside from my Patreon, because I do occasionally address my patrons directly in stuff that I obviously cut out for not the Patreon, aka the public stuff. But I feel like it's been a bit since I've just addressed YouTube. So how have you all been? Leave a comment down below telling me how you feeling, what's been going on, and if maybe potentially if my videos have been something you've chosen to watch amidst whatever you got going on in your life, whether it be work, art, anything of the sort. I'd love to hear what's going on. All right, and now let's check that. Okay, is it just me? Actually, hold on, let's go ahead and erase this inner part here. There we go. I think that's looking better, but I'm forgetting to put more, I'm being afraid. Oh, sorry, I just choked on myself. I'm being afraid, I need to put more pressure. I'm always afraid to put too much pressure in, out of fear that the line comes out too thick. How's that look? I think that looks better. All right, cool. I think we have our shape here. Just to be safe, let's erase the part in here so there's a break, and go up a little bit. There we go, that looks much better. So with that in mind, let's merge these, delete this, and let's just go ahead and... so yeah, alright, cool. So we'll go ahead and merge these, so they're now one piece, and merge the invisible ones. Can't do that. And first things first, brings up the proper opacity. Then merge them. The nose was in there too, but whatevs. You can see already how much better that looks. Even without the nose on the other one, you can see it just looked off. The shape was wrong, and we fixed it. Alright, cool. Go ahead and delete that. And now it's just a matter of cleaning up the line art on spots that is no longer being covered by others, or in this case here, a case of the line art being a little bit, you know, not quite finished in that regard, which is gonna be easy. All we gotta do is go to our hair layer, there it is, and just hold on. A, we're on eraser, B, stabilizer 100, not 1000. And let's just go ahead and fill that in like that. There we go. And now we just gotta erase that little bit of shoulder, we'll erase a little bit of neck, and we should be good to boogie. Then it's just a matter of fixing the colors. Here's our neck, go ahead and erase right there. Any more bleed over? Nope. And now we need to fix the shoulder, which is here. Erase that. There we go. Alright, line art is fixed. Looking much better. Now we just gotta worry about fixing the color, which we didn't do toning yet, so it's actually going to be very easy to fix. Very, very easy. In fact, the fur is going to be much, much easier to fix, because we can just kind of connect the tan up here, because the rest is just, you know, tan. But I think we'll go ahead and we'll just do this in order. So we'll go to hair first, which we have here, and that's the pink there. We'll go make that go away just for posterity's sake. Where's our fur face and our lip? Make those go away so I can actually see better. I did not name the lip, I don't think. That's dress, choker, fur body to lips. Here we go. Alright, found it. We got there. It's fine. Alright, and we have our hair color, but I'm going to be safe and select it again. Shabby. Color that in. And while I touch up these colors, why don't I do the Patreon plug? A huge shout out to all of my current patrons. Your support is very much appreciated, and I love you all very much. If you'd like to support me in the channel, you can do so on Patreon for just $5 a month. You get a bunch of cool perks. I should be using my alias brush for this, such as work in progress art, whether it be for thumbnails or just something I happen to be working on, full resolution art, including for thumbnails, early access to videos, and access to a special channel where I host all of my director's cut and uncut content for your viewing pleasure. So if any of that strikes your fancy, make sure to head down the link in the description and check out my Patreon. Once again, a huge shout out to all of my current patrons. Your support is very much appreciated, and I love you all so, so much. And I feel like I might have missed something there, but in the moment, I'm not going to worry about it, because right now I have art to worry about. And speaking of art worrying about, let's see, can I get away with just selecting hair, the black parts, and just kind of coloring in this very small section here? I think I might be able to. I'm going to use the anti-alias brush here because it's not just the color, but it's also the line for her highlights. There we go. That should look fine now. Now we just got to fix her fur. We're going to make her hair go away. Bring up our fur layer. Go to the gray-brown. That's the wrong layer. Go to the gray-brown. And do a little bit of erasing. A little bit of erasing, not selecting. To erase, we don't really need to... Oh wait, no, this layer is above, so yes, we do need to erase up here. Never mind, I'm stupid. I totally forgot. Okay, now we'll select the gray brown and fill in this part of the muzzle that's different. Wait, we want the anti-alias brush for this. Make sure there's no holes. Or the alias brush, damn it. I'm gonna need to get used to the terminology of using an aliased brush versus the anti-aliased brush. Aliasing is helpful for colors because that means there's less likely chances for gaps in your color. There we go. And now we just want the tan. Just fill that out. I'm not using my alias brush, damn it. I'll get used to it eventually. But while I touch up the colors here, wouldn't it be kind of interesting for me to... Oh, I just noticed that. That's covered by her hair, isn't it? Yeah, okay, we're fine. So, if you're watching my art series, odds are you actually care about my art, which I would imagine you do. So I figured might be kind of interesting to mention this in a video, but I've recently made a new OC. It's not the Angel OC I was planning, because this character was entirely spontaneous. But if you paid attention to like my Patreon plugs, and you know, just skip through, which I won't blame you if you do, but if you happen to actually watch my Patreon plugs and stuff, you'll notice that I have this new character by the name of Kay, and they're really cool. I like them. Their design's a lot of fun, and their concept is a lot of fun, because I basically took the whole trope of no one knowing what the hell they are and made that like an actual part of their design. So no one knows where Kay came from, no one knows what Kay is, and no one's even sure if they are a boy or a girl. Which, just to answer it for the actual sake of like pronouns and stuff, they are canonically non-binary, so they're neither. Which, that's also a fun little talking point. Kay is actually my first, like, canonically non-binary character, so I think that's pretty interesting. I also think it's a little bit funny that I made a non-binary character before I updated my one male character I've actually drawn. And no, I'm not sharing pictures because I'm absolutely fucking ashamed of that original design. But if you're genuinely curious about that absolutely awful dogshit design, you can go ahead and check out my fur affinity and just scroll back to like the second to last page. Oh, that's the back hair. Okay. I've been trying to get better with actually drawing OCs when I think of them, instead of just, you know, thinking about them, daydreaming, and then forgetting about them, making a new OC. Because I have a lot, and I mean a lot, of OCs that are in my head and nowhere else because I haven't drawn them. There is so much. And I guess K is like the first time that I've spontaneously just thought of an OC, thought that design is cool, and immediately picked up my tablet and started drawing them. And I'm actually happy with how they came out, even on the first go. If you haven't seen it, this is the first original drawing of K. So now we can put it up just there. And it's a little bit off, it's a little bit weird, and there's definitely differences between this and the like most recent drawing I've done of them. But in general, that first go is like not bad. It's good, in fact. I like it. A whole lot, even. So I might actually start doing that a bit more, where if I think of an OC, I'm going to do my absolute best to actually hook up my pen display and get to drawing them. Because the longer list I have of OCs that I haven't drawn, the more stressed out, more like, I can't think of the word, the more obligated, there we go, I feel to draw them. And when I start doing things out of a feeling of obligation, they're not going to be as good. So here's hoping that going forward, K is just the first example of me actually bothering to just sit down and draw that OC, even if it's just that one drawing, so they exist in, you know, the zeitgeist of, like, my character canon. Oh, this needs to be 5. And on the topic of designing characters and stuff, I think a big reason that a good amount of the characters that I have in my head and haven't drawn yet is because I unintentionally over-designed them by thinking too much about their lore beforehand. Because with K, I obviously didn't think of any lore before they existed. The design literally just popped into my head and I worried about lore afterwards. So with a lot of the other characters I've thought of, like if any of you remember this name, shout out to you, but I have this other character by the name of Coyote, and he's super cool. He's supposed to be like a big strong dude who's like a protector and everything, but I've never drawn him despite Coyote being as old as Snowy is in my like character lore, or not, like they're not the same age, but I thought of them at the same time. He's actually an older OC. He's existed for longer than Rosie has. So I've had this Coyote guy, existing in my head for a very long time, but I haven't drawn him because I kept thinking about his lore, his purpose. Why is he here? What does he do? What is his end goal? And it got to a point where I just thought of so many different things I wanted to do with them that it unintentionally got over-designed, and it's now going to be quite a pain in the ass to draw. So for some characters like Coyote, I'm gonna have to take a step back and probably like rework in my head to be a bit more simplify it just to make it so it's something I can realistically draw now knowing my capability for art. There we go, looking much better. I do feel like her mouth is a little small, but that's kind of the point, because she's not supposed to have a big, huge grin. I think that does look fine. Oh, you know what it is? Because my style has shifted quite a bit. It's still obviously generally the same style. I just had to change like 1 or 2 lines to get it to fit with my current style. But the thing I'm noticing is her whiskers aren't big enough. That's why it looks weird. I've started being much more exaggerated with specific parts of my drawings now that I've really honed in on I want to draw cartoony. I'm not going to worry about like proportions all that much, which that's also why boobies have gotten bigger and waists have gotten smaller, because I'm not worrying about realistic proportions anymore. I just want to draw fun cartoon characters. I probably shouldn't delete that, so I'll just make a new one, and there we go. And one of the main things I've started doing with Vixie, because obviously she's the character I draw the most nowadays, is I've started drawing her whiskers much bigger, and white apparently, much bigger. Am I unweighted or something? No, I think I'm just pressing too hard. It has been a little bit since I've replaced the nibs on my stylus, so it might be overdue for that. There we go. Look how much longer and more bold the lines are for her whiskers. That's what I mean by being more cartoony, more exaggerated in some parts. We want to have the starting points be in a relative triangle, and then just put the other three on the opposite side. There we go. I do think her whiskers on her left side are a little bit longer than they should be, which is fine, because we can just select them. Put the anchor point here, and just scooch him back a little bit. Like there. My left earphone cutting out is going to actually murder me. The moment I actually get the payout from Patreon next, I'm buying a new aux cord so I can actually have my headphones work properly. Thank you, Patreon. But there we go. I'm not seeing any... Oh, I am seeing some color weirdness. What is this down here? Why does that look weird? What is up with... How did I miss that? Whoa. Did I accidentally erase down there or something? Weird. Well, that's a good thing I noticed. Another thing I was thinking about doing... hold on, we're gonna fix the neck fur first. But another thing that I was thinking about changing was making her eyebrow a little thicker. Because a consistent problem I have with specifically Vixie is obviously she has black hair. But even with me not making her hair completely black, because why would I? It's really hard to see her eyebrow most of the times, and it ends up making the expression less like believable and realistic. I want fur body, and this should be... No, this... No, right, it's backwards because... Yeah, okay. So after I fix up this little discrepancy in her fur real quick, I think we're gonna experiment with... Did I select somewhere? I selected somewhere, okay. Oh, I see the weirdness. Apparently I didn't finish the line on her choker here. That's weird. Alright, well, it's nothing that just popping up onto our layer can't fix. Doesn't even matter where. Make it black. Stabilizer. Make the color go away. Oh yeah, there's a completely missing line here. We'll set the color to low opacity so I can see where it is, but not have nothing to go off of. Oh, we're on the alias brush. Hang on, there we go. I think there is a little bit of... That's either bleed over from her fur, or a missing spot of color in the back part of her hair. First and foremost, that's face. We want body. Yeah, that looks like a missing bit of fur, or hair, rather. But while we're here, go ahead and patch this up as well. I am absolutely postponing what we have to do for the rest of this episode, by the way, because I'm not used to it. And now let's go to her hair, go to the back layer, and just fill in this little spot right here with an alias brush, because I keep fucking forgetting to select it. If you couldn't tell, by the way, this is like a brand new thing I've started doing, is trying to color with an aliased brush, so it actually has like a smoother transition and everything. Well, not transition, but a smoother, like, overall color to it. Fill out these lines here. Alright, there we go. And it doesn't even matter because you won't see it anyway. So now, I want to experiment with maybe making her eyebrow thicker, and I don't think there's anything else I want. I did kind of want to toy with trying out, like, a different way of doing the silver, but I kind of love it like this, and I don't want to fuck with it. So I might do that on my own at some point, but as far as I'm concerned, the silver is fine. It's perfect. So we're just gonna stick with what's on the docket currently. Go to stabilizer, on a 30, on a black, on the alias, anti-alias brush, and we gotta find our eyebrow layer. Here we go, it's on the line art. So we'll just go ahead and set that to, that's our hair layer, damn it. Set that to low opacity, maybe like 25%. Here, I think we're on the right stabilizer, sweet. A little bit too long, so let's try starting it from this angle. Okay, that's basically the same, but it's like slightly more curved. And I think I do like that better. So we'll just go ahead and erase the old eyebrow and we'll just use that. It's basically no different, but it's that slight little bit of change that's making my brain go whoop. So we'll say that's good. And you know what? While we're at it, we're actually going to cut this off. Oh wait, actually that's on its own layer now, so we don't have to. Never mind. Now we can shift it around and rotate it if we want it to be somewhere else. Which I think what we're going to do is we're going to do this. We're going to set the anchor point to around the center of it so we can shift it around and also move it around. That looks good to me. Again, you won't really notice it because it's black on very, very dark bluish gray, so you won't really notice it, but all of these slight little changes are making me absolutely love this. And once again, I will say, just for the record, this is probably going to end up being my profile picture, and that's why I'm being so meticulous about it. And now before I forget, because I want to stall even more before I have to face the inevitability, not eventuality, of it, and we're going to really, really quick put in some eye shine, because it's super, super easy. All we gotta do is think about where we want our shading to be, which I usually do with the whole multiply and addition thing. It's gonna be around here. So we're just gonna add in... We want them to be a little bit starry-eyed, so they're going to be kind of bigger, like that. That looks weird right now, but... Ooh, actually, I might make it just a little bit... Let's do small one here, long one there, maybe? No. I'm thinking shorter... The shorter on the outside, definitely. Let's try bring this up to like a 50 point. Like that, maybe? There we go. Okay, yeah. So that looks kind of strange right now, but that's just because we haven't done shading yet. Okay, so eye shine's in, color is fixed, line art is fixed, whiskers are better, eyebrow is better. That's looking like a normal-ass Vixie right there. Sweet. So now comes the thing I am dreading. So I'm gonna put all of these into a group. So I just have Vixie on her own group. Rename that to Vixie, just to postpone a little bit more. Now we're gonna have to do a background, which we're gonna preemptively make its own group right now. So if you've seen literally anything I have drawn, you'll know that I don't do backgrounds. I am not a background artist, I'm not a landscape artist, I'm not good at it. The few times I have drawn a landscape or a background have been in art class, and I remember hating it, even at the time. So drawing a background is a daunting task for me, and that's probably why that's going to be the main focus of this here video. However, that being said, I have drawn a background before. If any of you remember that short Power World commentary I made, I actually did draw a background for this, and from a distance, it does look good. It looks fine. With the characters up in the forefront, it makes sense, it works. And something I need to just remember is backgrounds do not need to be insanely detailed. It's just kind of throwing color around and to make a vague shape of what you want it to be, especially when you're like me and you like put on like a 30% Gaussian blur. What do I mean by that? Well, let's very quickly take away our characters. Now that they're out of the way, you can see it's very muddy, and I just kind of threw some brush strokes around to look like it, but with the characters in the way, you don't really notice it. It just kind of looks like a landscape background, which is good, which is what we're looking for. And even further so, if we take away like the gradient here, or the vignette rather, and the blur, we can see it's just a bunch of airbrush stroke I just kind of threw around. This is what a background looks like when you don't have to have it be the focus. Like, look at these mountains back here. This is without like blurring or anything, or any of the rendering I do. These mountains back here are literally just me going lighter color on top of darker color. But when you put the blur on it, the Gaussian blur, and then put the characters in front of it, it looks like mountains in the background. So I have done a background before, and the background I drew isn't terrible. So I can do it, it's just a matter of doing it well. which I kind of need to do for this. Thankfully, we have those really cursed AI Vixie pictures for a general color palette of how, like, what we want them to be. Where are they? There we go. God, it's so fucking weird. It's so weird. God, AI is a nightmare. So I think, yeah, generally this is like roughly the color palette we're going for. A lot of really cool blues and maybe greens, probably not because I don't like using green in my stuff. So I think the artistic liberty I will take over the cursed AI stuff is I'll probably end up making the trees stylized in more like a teal blue color, or like even just like a bluish gray, where our background colors are basically just different shades of blue, because I've mentioned this a couple times, I don't like using like harsh reds or harsh greens in my art, because red-green color blindness is the most common type of color blindness, and I want to try to alleviate that as much as possible. So I think we'll keep this one up. That's generally how I'm feeling. We'll keep this one up. Oops. And I think we'll just make it small so I can zoom in and look at it if I want to. Yeah, we'll do half size. We'll keep that cursed AI Vixie up there. It's so fucking weird. It just like, I know I've said this like every fucking time, but just seeing an AI approximate my OC is so fucking strange. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do myself a favor, and Vixie is on her own group now. So we're gonna set her to very low opacity, like 10. And let's think about our colors here. We've already said like bluish. Let's do like maybe that for the trees. All right, let's go to the background and just have a topmost layer of like our color palettes, so we can try out some color combos. Actually, instead of just trying to eyeball some colors here, let's actually eyedrop some of the colors here. These trees in the background are actually roughly what I'm going for. Yeah, see, if I hover over them, they're not actually green, they're a pale blue, a very, very pale bluish gray. So this color here is what I want, but this is, color theory is fucking whack, man. That's apparently a pink. Okay, well, either way, we want this bluish color. So we'll start with that. Let's just get our big thing here. I'll make this like 150 point because we're just setting up our palette, and make that brighter and just kind of set up an array of colors for generally what we want our background colors to be. Just gonna throw up a bunch here, varying in shade and hue. I can see about, we'll go a much brighter one here. I'm thinking, let's bring Vixie up and see how those colors look on top of her. I'm thinking this relative palette is probably gonna work, so I'll play with that. So now let's think about our background here. Thankfully, the AI is smart enough to understand a basic description of the background, so the composition, like the actual shot itself, is basically what I'm going for here. So bushes on the left, bushes on the right, trees flanking, and the only difference here is I want more of a canopy overhead, so you're kind of like peeking through a peephole out to the lake. That's basically what I'm thinking. And I think we have a really, yeah, I think these two really dark colors are probably going to be for like an island in the lake, just so I have a little bit of like difference and variation in the lake itself. But we'll worry about the lake in a minute. Right now we need to set up the foreground of our backgrounds. Let's go ahead and let's see. I'm gonna want to start off with something. Let's do this as a base and then draw on top of that. What do we want to do? What sort of brush do we want to use for this? I'm thinking, I like using the airbrush for backgrounds, sort of like in the Power World thing I showed off, but I might end up going with a hard brush, but just have it be, oh, actually, what about our pencil? I do like this pencil brush. So let's set it to 20 pixels so it's really big, and just experiment real quick. Oh, actually, hold on, we gotta basic. Yeah, just because of how like fine a point it is, I don't think the pencil's gonna work. So let's play with the airbrush really quick. Maybe like 100? Yeah, let's do 100 first, and just use that as like a way of starting us off. That, flip the other side. Just doing this to get a general idea of the shape we want, and then we want bushes here. Oh, right, I put the background. There we go. Put that back, and then put Vixie on 20% opacity. There we go. I was wondering why the hell that happened. Regularity's there, and now let's just see about filling this out with some random, or not some random, but some more color. Add a couple lines to make them more tree-shaped. Let's actually curve in like that. Then have this one curve out. Sort of like how I draw fluff. Because trees are basically just plant fluff, right? That's what leaves are. I'm thinking that might work, because, again, remember, I'm going to be layering colors on top of each other. And we'll just go ahead and color in this bush here. I want to make Bob Ross proud. Make some happy little bushes, some happy little trees, so I can have a nice, does what it needs to background for my persona drawing. Do you think Bob Ross would get along with furries? I think he would, because, you know, so many furries are artists and everything, and Bob's whole thing was just he wanted the world to experience the lovely wonderfulness that is art. So I'd imagine he'd probably get along with furries just fine. Any furry haters out there that might be watching this, especially this long for some reason, I'll start off by saying you might need to question some things about yourself. But keep in mind that if you want to hate furries, that Bob Ross likely wouldn't hate furries. So you wouldn't want to piss off Bob Ross' ghost, would you? That would be disrespectful for the bestest boy who's ever lived. And I do want to have, like, as I mentioned, a canopy. I'll do that in a minute. I'll worry about, like, filling out the, like, very base level colors for our trees first. And as I'm coloring over the palette, I'm realizing I am going to do myself a favor, and we're going to very quickly add a layer style to it. Probably like 10 pixels, 100% opacity, normal blend mode, I can never find it, there it is, and set it to white. That way my colors actually stand out on the colors that we're drawing with the background with. Alright, looking okay. So now let's think about how I want to do the canopy. Oh, and let's bring our refs layer above the background so I can actually see the cursed AI Vixie if I need a reference. And we're not going to be messing with the center too much, so I think I'm actually going to move that center here. Because right now we're just doing the outside. Just like that. Horizontal mirroring off. Okay, let's take a look back at our cursed AI Vixie real quick. And see, yeah, it's a slight tone shift. So this is the color for our trees. So we'll grab this and see about doing the general shape of the horizon line. So let's start off by doing like, am I below? I am. Like that. And then sort of just kind of like do that, maybe? Or like that sort of business. Then have it come up, maybe like, maybe not that steep, but have like these maybe be the tops of the trees in the background. Have that come up like that. Just connect those around. Sort of like that. Fill that out. And see if that's generally the shape we're going for. I'm kind of liking it. Kind of liking it. I don't want to use the, like the mirroring system. Because forests are not perfectly symmetrical. And I don't think this is going to be either way. But just to be safe, go ahead and not bother. Now that looks a bit strange, but we'll leave it there for now. And what we're going to do, we're going to draw the shape of the lake real quick. So we'll do like something like this. That maybe. I think it needs to be lower. That maybe? I'm trying to picture this. I think that might be okay. Let's see where on the cursed AI thing it meets. So like starts at the tops of her thighs and meets up by her arms. So it'd be like down here, then up here. Let's try find a way to connect that around that. A little bit more natural looking. Okay, I think we have something here. We might have something here. Let's make Vixie big real quick. Ooh, yeah. Okay, having Vixie actually in the way is very much helping for that. Okay, so now make her low opacity again. And now we're just going to go through. We're going to see about just adding some very basic tree shapes. But this isn't going to be like the background quite yet. They'll have a bit of a horizon line to work with. Throw some colors around, triangles, some little bit curvy triangles, like that. Now let's fill this out and see how we're working with all of our midnight blue colors. It's all about getting the shot first and then adding some detail to our background. Once we have the shape, we can make it look a lot better by shucking some of those varying colors we have around, you know? By using a hard eraser in some places, we'll be able to cut off some of the more brighter parts of our trees here, so it looks like they are overlapping in spot. So while I get this this background done here all good, how about I share a little bit of lore with you, because I don't really ever talk about like my OC's lore and everything. The location in question that this drawing here is supposed to be based in is a very specific lake that Vixie has been going to ever since she was little, called Lake Starfall. And it is called that because of an ancient legend about a star that fell from the sky, and a coyote, go figure, tried to catch the star and convince it to not destroy what was like his home, which this used to be a plain, like a grassy plain, and the star was very touched by the coyote's words and his sense of self-sacrifice, and decided that it would not destroy the area, but turn it into a new place of life, being a lake. And that's why it's called Lake Starfall. And that's the legend behind it. So I figured I'd throw in a little bit of lore about not specifically a character, but a location that is relevant to the world that my OCs live in, because I haven't really done that before, and there's a lot of lore hanging out in my noggin. I think I'm actually going to, this doesn't matter all that much, but I think I'm going to shape this out a little bit better. Let's erase a good amount, and then just smooth it out with our airbrush, like that. Do the same here. We're working on our horizon line here. Yeah, okay, so I had a feeling that was the case. So I'm actually going to cut it here in the center, and I'm going to have them start to get a bit smaller and have them come to a sort of point. So there's a little bit more perspective. You won't really see it because Vixie's going to be in the way, but that's the wrong thing. But it is going to be just a little bit more visually interesting, and might actually give us a little bit of better perspective on a whole. I hope this is helping any other artists out there who might be a little bit too scared to do backgrounds or think they're not good at them, and giving it a shot. Because realistically, backgrounds are not that hard if you have a dedicated subject. Landscapes are complicated, but when it just needs to be a background, it's not the main focal point, you can just kind of chuck colors around and eventually you'll get something. Which I think we're working with here. I think that's pretty good. I think from there, we're going to stick with our base colors for now, and we're going to take a really dark color. I think this is like the next darkest, and we're going to have a taller skyline up here, and just see how this looks. I'm going to be very haphazard here. Very haphazard. Kind of general shaping it. And then we'll figure out what points go where once we actually have that general shape. Okay, I don't think I'm going to end up doing that whole island thing I mentioned, because with the perspective we have, A, the lake is mostly going to be obstructed, and B, I don't think there's enough room to have an island here for it to make sense. Okay, yeah, there we go. So I'm just going to go in here and real quick and clean up some of these edges, which it's going to look a lot better once we Gaussian blur it either way, but I want to make sure they're just a little bit less muddy, just a little tiny bit more clarity, so they feel more like trees and not lumps. So I think I'm just going to take our soft eraser and manually carve out some points. Let's bring up our Vixie and see how that looks. I am liking it. I am liking it. And now, before we get into like coloring like the trees and everything, I think we are going to do the sky as well. We're probably gonna have the sky be like properly colored first. So let's get a more saturated color here, have a little bit more indigo color, and just take our big thing and just black out the sky real quick. And that'll be our base for the sky. And now I think we're going to take probably our pencil and make it huge. And we're going to add just some random strips of color. Oh wow, Krita is struggling. Oh wait, we're on the same layer. Don't want that. I also do want a bit more of a cyan color than that. Like that, maybe. Okay, so what way is Vixie facing? She's facing left and she's facing right and looking left, right? Yeah. So I think I'm going to have the sky, like the clouds going in a similar direction, like that. Very light brush strokes, like that. And now let's get a more purple color, put that under it, like that. And you know what? I didn't mean for this. This is starting to look like Aurora Borealis. At this time of year, in this part of the country, localized entirely within your kitchen. Yes. May I see it? No. So we're just sorry, I had to take a steamed hams break there for a second. So we're just gonna very quickly just kind of schlep this around, color, and then we're going to have a very notable teal color, probably like right there. And we want that to be brighter. There we go. And now let's go and grab like this color. We want that above everything and have that sort of carve out the waves and the shape of the aurora. That top line's not really doing anything for me. Bring that line back. Let's see, there's this one. Let's erase some of this a little bit, which we can do with our big boy soft eraser. Just like that. And now let's go here and make a very rich purple color and put that below basically all of that with our pencil brush here. There we go. And then just above that, get another darker blue color and just kind of blend that just a little bit. Okay, that's looking a little bright. So all we're gonna do is we're going to grab our super dark that we used. We're gonna have a super huge pencil and just very lightly color over it. That, then bring it back down and put some lines through of the dark. Here we go. It's looking like a something. And because this is on the sky's on its own separate thing, we'll be able to test and experiment with our Gaussian blur. So I'm going to dupe that real quick. I'm going to merge it. Then I'm going to make our old one go away and have this new layer on its own thing. We're going to group that. I'm going to dupe that. And we're going to mess around with some blending things. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to take our eraser and have this addition layer. Oh, wait, hold on. I really like combining addition with multiply. Let's try that first before we play with anything. Hold on, I can't find the J key. It's too dark. Okay, there we go. Ooh, yes. Okay. So let's take off our stabilizer real quick. And just in a very... Hold on. Nope. You want a 20% opacity and like 1,000, maybe like 800. Just in a very few key spots, probably around the center area. I'll have that be a bit brighter. Around the edges, a bit darker. There we go. And now, let's grab that star stampy thing that we were messing with and see about potentially just throwing in some sparkles in there. Really have like a blue color. Kind of randomly toss them around and change the color a little bit. Change color a little bit. There we go. Now, we're gonna take that, we're gonna dupe it, we're gonna merge it, and we're gonna blur it and see how that looks. Oh, right, that crit is lagging, so it's gonna take a little bit. So I usually do 30 pixel. Okay, 30 pixel Gaussian blur. And let's put Vixie up in front of it. Okay. Yes. I think we have our sky. I think we have our sky. Cool. So, what I'm gonna do now that we have our sky in, which is here. Oh, actually, something that might be kind of interesting I kind of like doing is putting the blurred layer. I do this with Vixie's earring all the time. I put the blurred layer on a blend mode of some sort, because sometimes that will make it look just that little bit more visually interesting. Burn looks apocalyptic, but what if we turn down the opacity on burn real quick? Like, say 35% opacity? 20. Ooh. I'm kind of liking the 20% burn opacity. I kind of like that. Okay, cool. So, just out of curiosity, we're going to group those up. So now we just have our sky. We're going to dupe that, and just for funsies, we're going to make the old one go away. We're going to merge this, and then we're going to blur that again at 30. No, I kind of like the slight clarity of the stars. So I think this is our sky. So now, just as a pregame for the water, because this will make sense, we're going to dupe that, and we are going to flip it. It's not going to be a one-to-one thing, but we're just going to have this here. And we're going to mess with perspective. Let's stretch it around a little bit. Let's have it like maybe like down here-ish. Okay, let's start over from 0, because I think I messed that up beyond repair. So I think I'll just do myself a favor, and we'll do the lake first. We'll worry about the sky in a second. So we're actually going to rename that to sky, so I know where it is. And we're gonna have a new group, lake. We're gonna have to look at the AI thing again, because, okay, yeah, it is like lines. So it's dark with shinier lines. So I think we're going to take that really, really dark color, make it more saturated, and we're gonna use that to fill out the dank, dark depths of our lake. I feel like it needs to be a little bit more saturated, a little bit darker, like that. For the very, very dark water. Just like that. There we go. We have our dark, dark water. And now, how do we want to do the lines? I'm thinking, let's grab this like tealish color here, saturate it just a little bit, and then maybe take our pencil. Are we still on 100? Yeah. Okay. We don't want that. We might even just use a sort of hard thing here. Kind of like color out our wavy line situation. I'm gonna throw these lines out here until maybe I get something that I'm liking. Sort of like that. Stretch it out this way a little bit more maybe. Then below that, we'll have a more bluer, darker color. Not gotta be darker. And maybe this will have this airbrush. And I might run over a couple times. Yeah, I think starting with the bright was a bad idea. Because this is looking okay. We'll just start with like the slightly brighter blue color, like that. Then maybe go like here-ish, go under that, see how that looks. Now we want darker, like that. Very, very noticeable now. We want it more saturated, like super, super saturated. And just kind of have that go around the outside a little bit. Throw that around like that. A little bit brighter. That over top needs to be more saturated. All right, from far away, that's not looking terrible. So I think I have something here. So now, I think now I am going to maybe grab our brush at like half the size not half, not over double. Half the size, a more cyan color. Okay, even smaller, 25. Like this, maybe? It's all about just finding the right color for the scenario. Ooh, maybe that. Okay, yeah. Have it taper off to either end. That. Go brighter. A similar thing. Space it out a bit. Kind of looks like TV static or like a ultrasound. But right now, again, I don't do backgrounds or anything, so I'm just experimenting to see what it will look like when we blur it. That kind of looks like a dead person floating in the water. Okay, maybe not that. Maybe not that. Is this the right color? That's the right color. Okay. So let's have this like come out a little bit more this way and have it more that way. So it's less person-shaped. I think that's a little bit too far, actually. So let's just smooth out this part here. And let's actually take like 100-point soft eraser and just run it through. Okay, yeah, maybe like a 25-point, like that. And then we'll do the same with this layer. Okay. And now, what I'm going to do, I take that. We're going to grab our pencil again. We do like a 50, not a 500, a 50. See about not directly mirroring, but just splashing some similar colors from the sky here. Grab some of that teal action, some of the purple, throw some color around, right? And then I think we're going to have a really bright few little spots. Probably even of a hard pen. Sprinkle these about in spots where it sort of makes sense for them to be, right? Oh, too hard. And let's just sprinkle some in here. And now, just out of curiosity, we're gonna grab that, we're gonna merge it, and we're gonna blur it and see how we're looking. Okay, I think we're on the right track, but the color reflects the sky almost too perfectly. So I'm gonna do what is called a silly and/or goofy. We're going to grab like this sort of like tealish green color on a low opacity airbrush on a big boy. Just kind of run over it. See about maybe using a blending thing of some sort. See if I can get it to look a little bit better than just coloring directly over it. Maybe super light. Maybe. I'm actually going to try something real quick. I'm going to do what I was messing with before. And we're going to take our sky, and I'm going to put it under it. We want to mirror vertical, maybe like 25%, and set that to addition. Ooh, actually, hold on. Make that top thing go away. And set that back to normal. Hold on. Oh, hold on. We're working here. We'll have that be like 50%, and let's try blurring it and see what happens. Heavy, heavy blur. Like 50 blur. Oh! Oh! I think I have something here. Hold on, put Vixie in front of it. Oh, I think we have something here. Okay, hold on. So now I'm just going to, let's see, where's our really dark color? Yeah, grab this really, really dark blue, make it almost black, and now we are going to go back to the lake and put over it. We have our 20% big boy, and we're just going to color in the edges of the lake. So we can then blend it in with the tree line. Make it more like a lake, you know? Oh, okay, from a distance, that's not just looking like a lake, that's looking like a magical special lake, which is pretty fitting for the whole thing I mentioned about it being Lake Starfall. Oh, I like that. Okay, I kind of want to throw in some sparkles in there as well, because I'm kind of just obsessed with using this sparkle brush. Have it like that. And just throw some sparkles in there. Darken it a bit. More blue color. Too dark. Better. Sprinkle in some purpley sparkles, and then have those maybe be... No, I like the opacity, but I think I'm gonna blur them. Maybe not that much, because this is still going to get all blurred when I blur the background. So we'll have that be like 10. There we go. And where's the like lines there? Okay, blur that as well. Too much, like 10. Okay. Okay. I feel like I'm cooking here. Now I'm feeling like I didn't make the trees dark enough. I'm going with like a much more saturated background than I originally planned, but it looks nice and I like it. And once I actually like do lighting and stuff with Vixie, I think this is gonna look good. The reason I haven't done shading or like light first is because I like to do, or I would say I like to consider my background when I do shading and lighting, so I can know roughly what colors to pick for those respective things. So let's see if there's any way I can like life hack my way to make these darker and more saturated. Burn usually does that. He's still supposed to be foreground, so I'll make that a little bit brighter, probably like 40%. And we'll just experiment by making these all burn darker first. Okay, yeah, I think that's a little bit too dark. It's the slightest bit difference. And since all the other things are in a group anyway, we'll go ahead and put these in a group too. Look how that looks without the trees. So chaotic. I think what I'm gonna do, let's see, where's this one? Yes. think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make a layer above that. We have our, we'll actually use the pencil for this, I think. What's 50 look like? A little bit too big. We'll do half that. And we'll sort of have like a mid-tone-ish color. Sort of transition from the lake and the trees. We want it to be dark, so it looks like a river, or like a bank. There we go. And now we can use that, sort of lay out the difference here. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm just gonna redo that whole back part. Yeah, I'm just gonna redo it. The foreground stuff I feel like is okay. This back line I'm not vibing with, so we're gonna see about redoing it entirely in that new color. Now that we have a much better idea of the palette we're going with our background and it being much more saturated, because again, these are the base colors. We're gonna be like adding like light and stuff on top of them. I feel like it's too saturated. Desaturate a little bit. Why is that not? Oh, I'm on 50% burn. What? This layer is what I wanted. Delete those. Hop on this layer. There. Alright, I'm thinking that might work, because we're just going to go over that and make it a little bit brighter anyway. Since we're already working on that, we'll go ahead and do that now. We're going to have Vixie here, but low opacity. And I'm actually going to really quickly run over the bank again. It's not even really the bank, it's more just the water line. There we go. Now, we're just going to take some slightly brighter colors. We'll probably go with like this, no, not this one, the like 3 pencil thing, and just kind of schlep some colors around here and there. Sort of like this. Vix is actually getting in the way. I'm gonna have to picture the general shapes of these trees that I want. From a distance, it's looking okay. And then we can always go under this and make them darker in spots if we want, which I probably will do. Now let's go real dark, go over parts of these, probably with like twice the size. Less saturated, more dark. More saturated, less dark. I might just like, with this dark one, I might just split them down the middle, maybe. There's an idea. It's all about the illusion, right? And now, let's go back to our lighter things. Grab a soft eraser, maybe like 50 point, 60 point. Just kind of start erasing. Yeah. So now just out of curiosity, make the palette go away. Out of curiosity, let's dupe the background. We'll merge and blur it real quick, this dupe, and see how we are looking so far. Bring Vixie back up. Looking a little dark, but there's nothing, that's nothing that a little blend mode can't fix. Maybe not addition. Hard light, maybe? Whoa, hard light is not light. Super light? Soft light. Okay, light's not the way. Screen? Screen, maybe. At least just for brightening stuff up. I wonder what it would look like, actually, if I had a bright color along, like, the very edge of the shoreline. Not all the way around, but just as an experiment. So let's grab, say, like, the teal color, make it a little bit more blue, and have it bright. That's our foreground. Put this on top and have probably a 10, just like our sketch. And sort of just have this along portions of the bank here. That looks better. That looks better. And I think I will actually add a couple more lines on the outside here so it looks like waves coming into the shoreline, right? Maybe not that many. Maybe like 1 or 2 more extra, max. I hope you're all enjoying me trying to figure out how to background. That is entirely the content of this episode. Okay, yeah, I think when I blur that, that's gonna look good. Like that. And maybe just a little bit like here-ish. Very, very light along the edges. I'm thinking that's okay. And I think once I get all like the colors in, I might even go in with like a line art brush and add edges to all of these. Because the background looking very painted, whereas the character itself looking very, cartoony with like line art and everything is gonna be very clashing. So I might go through and add line art retroactively to these. But right now, we'll go ahead and do like the background, the very, very dark background trees next. I think I'm gonna start this time by doing that color disparity thing I did, where they're like split down the middle. I did like the look of that. And then on top of that, I'm gonna color it as such. I don't think that's blue enough. Oh, no. Here's what I need to do. I need to change the hue. We want it more that blue. That way, it's more visually distinct than the trees in front of it. That. I'm just kind of making them darker at this point, but they're supposed to be, so I don't really mind. I might actually just keep them that one relatively solid color, since they're supposed to be, like, the farthest in the background. If they look weird, I'll end up coming back to them. But right now, let's see about getting these front and center ones a bit better. I have to pay a little bit more attention to them because they are directly, like, noticeable. So we're just gonna take a quick look at Cursed AI Vixie to see... Okay, yeah. So let's just grab this color, make it slightly brighter, and we want a bigger thing, like 30. Like that. This is where we're gonna start. Just have this brighter color here. And we're gonna add on top of that until we have generally the shape that we're going for. Or the shape and tone, I should say. I'll probably go back through with a much darker thing to, like, differentiate the leaves here. But right now, I'm just gonna worry about doing brighter. That's about it. Just have brighter on here, and then I think I'm also going to add horizontal stuff so they look like needles. Yes. Okay. Now we'll go brighter. Now we'll just add horizontal lines. That. Yes. Okay, we're getting somewhere. I'll have these bright ones here. We'll do that first, and then we'll add some darker ones in a minute. Shit, that looks so good. I'm really proud of that. Like, even if it doesn't look awesome right now, which honestly, I think it looks kind of awesome, think about it when it's going to be, like, blurred and everything. So you're not going to see it's just random lines, right? Look at that. From a distance, that looks good. I was going to add some more, but I kind of just like it like that. Okay, yeah. And then we already have our gradient here. That's pretty sweet. I like that. Look at the difference. Oh yeah, and I'm definitely gonna do like actual like line art trace over, like retroactive line art. This is gonna look awesome. I think this is our starting point. All right, and now we just do the same for the other side. Okay, that's looking good. All right, sweet. So now the bushes, I feel, are going to be, like, even yet more simple because they're just clumps of, like, leaves and stuff. So I think what I'm going to do to start, and this is on, it's on the same layer. So we'll just go under here. And to start, we're just going to basically cover the entirety of what we have in this darker color here. Like that. Do the same for the other side, like that. And now let's work on our gradient again. I think I'm gonna start with this color. Just go straight into the brighter. And we're just gonna make sort of like triangle, like spadey shapes. That's actually too bright, so like this. This is how I'm gonna start out and see how I'm feeling after. I'm thinking that might work. Okay, so let's just fill these out real quick. Fill in our little triangle spadey shapes. Okay, and maybe add a little bit of color disparity here. And now let's grab a brighter color. Is this brighter? Brighter, but not quite. And throw that around on our bush. Spread it all a bit more rounded. Like that. From a distance. From a distance, that's looking pretty okay. So we have the base of that like dark spadey shape. We have splotches of brighter color here and there. And then when I retroactively add line art, I can decide to have like a more like cohesive shape under that, which I think I'm actually going to experiment with right now. So I'm thinking bright color line art, do that over it, right? So here's what I'm thinking, right? Again, it's gonna be blurred, so it doesn't have to be like super accurate. And now we'll just this sort of thing, and just have it overlap in a few specific spots. Put it like that. I do think I made that too bright though. So we're gonna quickly run it back, but go with like a darker color. Like that maybe? Still bright, but not overly bright. Okay. So now I'm actually gonna try something a little different. And we're just going to do the outside here. See if we can cut down on a couple of these like key shapes. Then maybe make these like little diamond shapes, perhaps? Okay, I feel like I'm getting there, but I think the better idea was to have it overlay like that. And now, what if we do like the diamond shape I was looking at before? Let me think about like how a leaf would be shaped here. So I'm thinking like that sort of shape, right? And then comes down here and, you know, it's a leaf. So let's just try drawing that little shape here. Like that. This is basically the shape I was doing before, but now there's a bit more visual clarity to it. Like that. And what if we just do the smart thing? And is that on its own layer? No, it's not. It's a good thing we checked. Alright, run it back. And now let's experiment with duping it. Okay, yeah. I think just having the outer edge is probably the idea. I think I'm trying to put too much detail. So what we're just gonna do, we're gonna very lazily trace the outer edge of the bush, like that. And maybe have some, like, variation in here, and just throw some shit around, fuck it. No, I think outer edge is a good idea. Let's just grab our brighter color again, and I put that in the same layer, but I'm fucking over it at this point, to be honest. And just sort of blend it in just a little bit more. I'm not liking it. So let's try and let's grab a 50-point airbrush and sort of use that to like carve out the shape sort of the leaves maybe. Oh, yeah, from a distance. That's looking okay. Okay, yeah, just throwing some lines around kind of made that look better. And now, really quickly, where's our palette? There it is. I'm gonna add our line art color to the palette as well. Right there. Just to make sure that we have it. And before I do literally anything else, I'm going to add line art to the trees, just to see how I like it. Yeah, there we go. It's all about finding the style. Let's just pop up Vixie real quick to see how that looks with the... Yeah, I like it. I like it. Vixie sticks out like a sore thumb right now, but once I like get to lighting and shading, it's gonna look way better. And since I'm experimenting with like retroactive line art real quick, let's see about maybe adding some outer line, like outline to the ridge line here. Or the horizon, rather. I do like that. And I think I might even add some swoops to one side to imply branches. Alright, and now we just do the other bush, and then we can see about... Oh, I probably actually... You know what? I keep adding stuff before I forget, but it's for a very good reason, because it's before I forget, not after. I'm gonna add a thick black outline to... Or not thick, but bold black outline to the horizon line trees. There we go, cool. Alright, and now the other bush, which I believe our gradient starts here. This might be the dark one. Where's our bush color, actually? Is this light or dark? That's that color. Okay, cool. So we want this color? No, this color. This is brighter. Hold on, we'll find the gradient in a second. Okay, I think this is the gradient. Alright. This is what we want. Let's turn off our stabilizer, go back to hundo, and oh right, we did those little spadey shapes first. That's what we did. We'll go ahead and start with that as well. It may not look great, but what looks worse is a lack of consistency. Now we go back to that dark color, and I believe we set that to a 50 to draw out the little leaf shapes. This bush is both brighter and darker. That was not the gradient, it was a little bit darker. That's okay. That's nothing a little bit of retroactive color correction can't do. We doing this shit all again. And actually, I might be able, because color theory is weird, I might be able to actually get away with that, just having the darker outline. Hold on. Palette, give me line art. Nah, I have to add the brighter as well to the other. I'm thinking this might work. So let's close all that business. Make our palette go away. Make cursed AI Vixie go away. Make normal Vixie show up, but mirror it properly. There we go. Dupe the background as soon as I can find the J key. It's here somewhere. There it is. Merge that. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. 30. 30 is kind of aggressive. 10 maybe? 10's not aggressive enough. 15. 20. 20's looking okay. You know what? I think this is good. I think this works for a background. It just only looks weird because I haven't shaded it yet. Oh my god. What a colossal pain in the ass that was. I might actually even... This won't make any sense, but I'm actually going to try something real quick. And I'm going to try kind of haloing Vixie, a darker color, make her not blend in with the background so much. Or stand out a little bit more. Yeah, no, that looks weird. I wanted to try it to see what it looked like, but we'll figure it out in a minute. We'll figure it out when we shade and, like, do lighting and stuff. Okay, bring the blur back. This is probably going to be the end of the video, by the way. I've been at this for like 2.5 hours now, and I am exhausted from doing this fucking background. But real quick, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hop in here real quick. I'm gonna make our shading layer, set that to multiply, and we are very quickly just gonna completely fill out Vixie with this color, just to see what it looks like. We're on multiply, set that to like 70% is usually around when I want something very bold. Fill that in, and then deselect. Oh yeah, when we shade this is going to look awesome. This is going to look awesome. Out of curiosity, what would happen if we take this off of multiply? So it's just that color. Out of further curiosity, what if just like a really dark black color, because never shade with black. Yeah, that looks like garbage. Let's do multiply 75% opacity, a blue color, and then color it in. Oh, hold on. I think that might be our shading color. Okay, we'll leave that there for a minute, and we're gonna grab our new background, multiply it, and then let's do just a really big soft eraser, just to create a sort of vignette, like that. Vixie, go away for a second. Okay, yeah, I think we have it, fellas. Out of curiosity, though, I do want to go back to our temporary shading thing, and I want to go, like, I want this to be 60 and 100%. There we go. Out of curiosity, let's just, that looks so weird with everything else being shaded and that not being. Just wanted to get a general vibe of what, like, light versus shade was going to be like. Well, either way. We'll just leave that here for funsies. We are currently still cooking on this. This is a big project. I'll finish it very, very soon, hopefully. Now, all we really have to do is, like, tone. That's another reason it looked weird. I haven't, like, it's still flat color. I haven't, like, rendered anything at all, aside from, like, the dress and the earrings. Aside from rendering and, like, tone and such, all we have to do really is shading and light. And then, this'll finally be done. Oy, I cannot wait for this to be done. I am loving it so far. Loving it so much. Can't wait for it to be done. Dark. Let's just sign this for the Patreon and call off, because I have officially recorded for 7 hours today in total, almost 8, because of the whole Isaac music thing I mentioned. I need a break. I might draw on my own time, just for funsies, but this, for the time being, is Ionzo. Oh, right, I never got rid of that, so I can just use the old whip. Alright, that'll work. Okay, oh boy, that background, it's still a little bit scuffed, a little bit weird because I'm not used to drawing backgrounds, but I'd say it does what it needs to. So, this is going to be this video. If you genuinely enjoy this video, consider dropping a like and make sure to hit that subscribe button to become a pup if you haven't already, and to hit the bell so it actually does something. A huge shout out to all of my current patrons. I love you all very much. Your support is very much appreciated. If you would like to support me and the channel, you can do so on Patreon for just $5 a month and get a bunch of cool perks. My name's Vixie, and I will see you all in the next one.